So hi again. So this is actually the second part of our discussion regarding iterative programming structure. So in this case, I'm going to give you some examples on how are we going to apply those types of loop in iterative program structure. So I have it here for samples. Actually, number one, we just discussed this one in the laboratory, but I think the character series is not similar with this, since the other one is an alternative character series, but this one is not really an alternative one. Okay, so let's have an example. We may use the for loop and we may use the while loop in number one. Okay, we're going to create a pattern or we're going to generate a character series using the ZYXWV and then the ACEGI. So in this case, there are two patterns. Okay, so the first pattern is actually continuous pattern, which is ZYXWV, and the other pattern is ACEGI. So this means we're going to make use of two iterative program structures separately to display first the ZYXWV and another looping statement to display ACEGI. Okay, so let's start. Okay, so in this case, again, we're going to make use of the sharp include IO stream, okay, and the IO money for the spaces, okay, or for the set W. So again, I'm going to use this not for the IO, not for the set precision, but instead as for the set W. So let us declare first all the declaration we need based from the program. So we only have two declaration of characters again. So let's name this as CH1 and the other is CH2. Okay, so we're going to declare character type, and then the first one is CH1 and the other is CH2. So in this case, we're going to use the executable statement. So for the executable statement, we're going to use two looping statements. So first, let's use a while loop statement. So for the while loop, again, the first process for the while loop is to initialize the value. Okay, so since we have two separate series, so we need to initialize first the first series. So the first series started at Z. So let's say, for example, C H1 is equals to single quote capital C semicolon. Then while we are going to test while CH1 is greater than, CH1 is greater than or equals to single quote V. Okay, then if that is the case, in and end, so we're going to display, okay, the value. Let's use the set W for this and let's make it 3 instead of 5. And set W, the value of CH1, okay, semicolon. So we're not going to use end L so that later on the next series will be actually placed also on the same line where we display the value of ZYXWV. Okay, so in this case, let's just initially run the code. Let's name this as sample loop 1. Oops. Sorry. I missed out. How are we going to alter the value of CH1? So let's have CH1. It's actually decremented by 1, so we're going to use minus minus. Sorry for that. Let's run again the code. So we have the ZYXWV. Okay. So next, again, we're going to use another while loop to display the value of ACEGI. So in this case, we're going to start CH2 equals to capital A, semicolon, and then we're going to have while CH2 is less than or equals to the last portion of CH2 is I, single quote I. Then begin and end. Then again, we're going to display set W, same thing as how are we set how we set the value of CH1. So we say set W3, and then this time we're going to make use of CH2, and then again, don't forget to alter the value of CH2. So CH2 is actually incremented by 2, so we're going to use CH2 is equals to CH2 plus 2 semicolon. So this is also the same thing as CH2 plus equals to 2 semicolon. CH1 minus minus is just the same thing as CH1 CH1 minus equals 1, or you may also use CH1 equals CH1 minus 1. Let's run again the code. Okay, so our display is ZYXWV. That's the first loop. And the other loop is ACEGI. Okay.